Well, hi folks, we are back. We're going to continue working on our fighter here. And what I'm going to do now, here, I'll get this. Take this back off. What I've done here this morning is just some 400 grit, cleanup on the Easy S guard. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put this thing in a vise and heat up the top lug on the guard and curve it forward to get it closer to where it needs to be. So this, I'll do you a little before and after here. So this is how it looks right now. And in a couple minutes I'll be back. Of course, it'll get all discolored and even create some little scale because I got to kind of really warm it up here on the back, and I'll have to clean that up. And well, maybe I'll even show it to you right after I do it, show you how it's 416, but I'm sorry, this is mild steel because it's going to get hot blued black, so it'll get quite discolored, and I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done bending it forward. And then there'll be a little grinding to refine it. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, here you can kind of see the discoloration and some of the hammer marks here on the guard where I bent this thing, heated it up and bent it forward, and then ended up dropping it on the damn floor. And just what I didn't want to do. I had a little accident right there, and unfortunate. Welcome to knife making. If everything worked right all the time, then well, gee, what fun would we be having? Dropped it on the floor, things went goofy. So anyway, I got to clean up little. And I just like a kind of a lazy. I don't like anything radical because it has no benefit to it. So we'll get this cleaned up, and I'll be back in a little bit. Ruh-roh. Well, I managed to fix my oops that was right in here. Wasn't too big of a deal. You see, I've got a nice gradual curve on my S. I don't like to get too radical with anything in my knife making. I find moderation is really beneficial, not to get too radical. But this is a multifaceted guard. All just done on the grinder, flat platen, small wheel, slack belt, mild steel. She'll get hot blued. It's not in its 100% completed condition because remember, I got to clean my tang up here too now that I think about it. But remember that as of yesterday, I think did I do the 400 on this? I don't remember if I did 400 grit on the handle or not. I might have. But I'll do it again then anyway. Maybe I did the 400. But I'm going to continue to stick my knife here in the knife vise and take this to about a 1200 grit. And I'll hit the guard when I'm sanding it, so I don't take the guard to complete finish. I'll get this done, hang it up, put some tung oil on it, go ahead and finish the guard out to its final finish and for hot bluing, and then maybe this afternoon I'll get to I got a bunch of San Mai stuff I need to do, but and my God, Christmas knives. Oh boy, calendar's ticking, so I got to get moving. But I'll get the guard to its hot bluing condition, and then the next thing you'll see, major step you'll see on the construction of this knife is the hot bluing of the guard and the blade. And then one of these days we'll get done with it and she'll be for sale to somebody. More later. Excuse me while I drink my coffee. Okay, we've got the guard. The guard is completely, I don't know if you can see here, but I have completely removed that ding. When I was bending it and I was over in the vise and I needed 3 hands, the darn thing hit the floor. But anyway, I got that cleaned up. So the dimensions right now on this are not going to change. All I'm going to do is probably go into this now with some like 800 and 1200 grit and do finish work, and then it'll be ready for hot bluing. So the dimensions of this are now not going to change. And remember, this is what I use when it's on the knife to determine how I shape the handle. So now that this hasn't changed, it's not going to change anymore. I've gone ahead and I've taken the handle material to a 1200 grit. And what I'm going to do right now, I only get to do something the first time, one time, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step over a waste basket, and I've got a little. I really like these. These are the, you know, what your salad dressing comes in at the restaurant. I bought a box of. They're so cheap. I bought a carton of 3,000 of these one time. It was like $12 or something. Had a buddy at guy who ran a restaurant ordered a box for me, and I mean a decade ago. I'm still have a lot of them left. Anyway, I'll go over to the waste basket, cover this with some Danish oil, and then I'll come back and show it to you. And I don't know what it'll look like on the video, but hang on, I'll just be back in a couple seconds. Well, no doubt it's just going to look wet, but this stuff is so phenomenal. My God, I'm telling you, it's everything Kowa is, and it's just hard as a brick and really, really dense and hard. So I'm going to slide a wire down in this hole and suspend it. Let this sit on there for an hour or so, and then come back and wipe off the excess and come back tomorrow, maybe hit it with some 4/0 steel wool, give it another coat. But I'm telling you, this wood's so hard it doesn't even soak in. So anyway, this is kind of what our handle's going to look like, and I mean, it's extraordinary. So that'll be that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my grinder with a slack belt about 120 grit and clean up this tang and make it look like whoever built this knife knew what they were doing. Now it looks kind of rough and just grinding marks, but I'm going to go clean that up. Okay, now we look at this tang, and it's when I hot blue this and everything's all black, this thing will just really look cool. And when whoever the new owner is of this extraordinary, fantastic knife takes it apart for his or her friends, they'll you know, they'll be celebrities, just almost instant celebrities. All right, well, this knife is now ready for hot bluing. I went ahead and did a 3000 grit. I used a hard back and a 3000 grit and cleaned up the tall 15N20. And what I'm really hoping here, I've always called this wispy twist. There's something about twisting a high layer twist in one heat that gives it an additional dimension that I've never gotten when I was twisting things by hand and it was really slow. This, when you twist it in one heat, something happens, and it happens not. I call these, like, if you've ever seen twist, it looks like a screw, it looks like a bolt with threads on it. So I call these threads, and here's where the, you know, remember me saying this is like a 300 layer billet. between, this is like a thread and this is a thread, and what's between them, if you were to go from the center here to the center here under magnification, you'd be able to count 300 layers here, and it is really, really fine. Well, within that, the fine, the 300 layer portion, you can see there's an additional chatoyance, and I'm telling you, I don't know if it will come through on the camera and YouTube, but there's little, I call them wisps. I've often called this wispy twist because the lines are literally going lengthwise through there. It just distorts those layers during the twist, and it caught the light refraction is lengthwise on the blade, and I've just always found it extraordinary, and I hope you get to pick a little of that up on the internet, on the www. But anyway, this knife is ready for hot bluing, and all I gotta do right now is, God, I can see it right here, just amazing. All I gotta do is hot blue that guard and the blade tomorrow, sand the bluing off with the tall 15N20, and this knife's a done deal. Oh, I gotta fancy up our finial here and put some ivory or something on that. Okay, having fun. Glad you're part of it. Well, we're back here. I pretty much have my my guard exactly where well, not exactly where I need to be. I'll tell you the truth. I get it about 95% done, and then once I start actually heating up the salts in my bluing tank to do my bluing job, I finish the guard. If I take it to 100% finished, it's almost a given that before a day goes by and I start doing my bluing, I'm going to scratch it in some way or another. So I just take it so far and leave it. Once I start getting my bluing salts start warming up, then I have about an hour for that to take place. So while it's doing that, I tweak the guard and get it completely finished, and then I go right into the bluing tank with the guard and the knife. But anyway, I'm just real tickled the way this thing's turning out. I like, and everything's kind of oily here. The finish isn't completely dry on the handle, but I'll tell you what, I'm such a fan of ringed Gidgee in all kinds of ways. And then tomorrow I'll make a finial cover for here, either out of moose antler or mammoth ivory or something. It'll have a decorative screw right in the center, and it'll be a good looking knife. Really looking forward to doing some photography on this with a black guard. So, alrighty, well, you guys have witnessed the entire build, and she's just almost done. I was going to say, I probably will not video any of the bluing. If you go on my YouTube channel, look at any of the videos I've done while I'm there, click on my name, go to my channel, and I did a whole video about 5 years ago on my bluing, and you can see how it's done and how it's, wow, that is really cool. You can see how it's done and the reasons for it and so on and so forth. That should answer all your questions on hot bluing. Okay. Well, there's right about where my name is the balance on this thing. So look for a guy in the alley with this, and when you see him, run.